Hello world. Today we are going to talk about psychology of music. This theme was suggested by one of my top fans, Laila, and so I decided to make this video about it. So actually going to connect this topic with anime because there is lots of anime which is talking about music, and also music is a huge part of any anime you're watching because it plays such an important role. I will also try to talk about other things in music, such as how it can affect you and why it can be used in therapy and so go on. But like always, if you have any questions and comments, you can leave them in the chat and I will reply as soon as I can. And if you are new here, I usually do these streams and podcast on my Facebook page because YouTube doesn't allow me to film these live streams on mobile phone because I don't have 1,000 subscribers or more, and because I don't want you to see my face, because my words are more important than my face and how I look, I decided to stream that way. But if you're more comfortable watching it on YouTube, I post every video I make there as well. So, like I said at the beginning, today I'm going to talk about psychology in music, or the psychology of music. So first of all, I want to talk about anime in which music is the main theme, and it can actually show how important music is in our daily life. If you imagine, music is surrounding us and is part of our culture for long time, even in Stone Age and no in that time, Stone Age and so on, they were using music as part of their culture. So it is really old. It is, we could say, an old way of communication, and it was always important for us. But in anime, we can also see other aspects. So you might know some of those anime, but maybe in your surprise, I won't. Firstly, I won't mention the the anime which is usually connected with music because it is good way to show how powerful music is, but it is dealing with other topic. I'm talking about Your Lie in April, which is thought to be one of the saddest anime, maybe the best music anime, but in that anime the main topic is actually not really music, but traumatic childhood events of the main character and fighting with disease, um, which the second main character had. So the anime I actually want to talk about on the first place is Carol and Tuesday. This anime ended, I think, last week, and for me so far it is the best anime of year 2019. If no other anime can take that place in fall anime season. The reason why is because in that anime the main topic is music. It is actually happening in the future when people are living on Mars and we are following two young girls who are composing and singing their own music. This is actually very unusual because many or majority of artists are actually using AI or robots or computers to make music. So they are actually one rare people who are performing music on the original or old way like we also know it today. And they are using the music to express themselves about their loneliness and sadness and about other problems they're facing in their lives, and they're competing with other artists, and each artist has its own story, but we mostly see lives of certain characters, not all of them. And at the end, they are also using music to change something. And it actually shows you different aspects of music. And I really like that anime because they are actually using real artists and they are singing in English. Basically, they have voice actors who are Japanese, and then for singing, they have other singers who are English or American, I think. And they were actually recording them perform those songs and then make animation from it. So it is really well written, and music is just heart touching, and I I didn't find any negative side of it. So if you haven't watched it already, go for it. So that anime shows that music is important because we can express ourselves through it. It in a way it works like therapy. For some people, it is a way of relaxing your mind and thinking about different things and telling people what you think in musical way. And music is also a really powerful tool. It can spread to many people and everybody can understand music regardless of the language. You can still understand the feelings and behind it. um, so Carol and Tuesday really shows that. It also shows different kinds of music, but everyone wants to express their feelings through it and fight for what they believe in. So this is one aspect of the music. So it has really powerful message, and we know some songs like Imagine or Where is the Love, which I really like, who are carrying a really, really important message for all of us about the future, about the society, and so go on. Then there is another anime which also ended few weeks ago. It is called Given. It is the story is actually about a boy band who is writing, I think, rock or yeah, rock music, I believe so. And the story is about a boy who is kinda lost and wants to try to find himself in the music because his boyfriend actually committed suicide and he got his guitar. And because his boyfriend was in a band, he also wants to try music and see if he can find himself in music. So music kind of works as a therapy. And when that boy, one of the main character, is writing a song, because in that boy band he becomes a lead singer. When he writes a song, he actually has a message for his dead boyfriend, and in a way, that song is working as a therapy. And through the songs, he actually kind of breaks the bond with his dead boyfriend and looks for the future. Of course, in anime, the timeline is really fast sometimes because you actually need more time to maybe work on different things. Um, but in anime it goes really fast. But he helped himself with music, and it is really good. His song was really heart touching and heartbreaking in a way because it was kind of the last talk with his dead boyfriend. But yeah, it really holds a message that music is important. And then I was talking about My Lie in April. That anime is the saddest anime. At least they many talk about it as the saddest anime. My Lie in April talks about a boy who is playing a piano, and his mother wanted him to be the best pianist. But her methods were so harsh, and if I remember correctly, she was also sick and then died. And the whole events of her being harsh on her son, and um, she didn't really see her son as a person but more like a pianist, and she was really mad if he messed up the notes and didn't practice enough. And then when she because she was mistreating him, he actually got traumatized, and he kinda, if I remember correctly, he can't hear what he's playing. So when he's playing, the sound doesn't sound correctly. And he meets a girl who is violinist, and she is really good at playing the violin, and she kinda helps him to get in touch with the music again. So it is also a musical anime, and it is also can show the, it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really show the power of music. It mostly shows how people are in music industry and in musical schools, and it is more concentrating on how difficult it is if you are trying to be a musician. Well, it is also one aspect of music, but I think that anime is more concentrating on trauma and that girl who is sick, and she has some kind of disease and she's fighting with it. In a way, music can help her relax, so, but it is more about trauma and problems than actual music. Then there is another anime, Piano no Mori, the Piano of the Forest. This is also about music, and the music is also the main topic, because the main character is coming from really poor area, and he once finds a piano in the forest, and only he can play it, or rather if someone else presses the starts playing the piano, there won't be any sound. And he because he's from poor area, his mom doesn't have money to get him into music school, so he's trying to teach himself music. And he actually is some kind of genius, because when he hears a certain song, he actually can play it. And so we are watching on him on journey to become the best pianist, and he goes on competition and so go on. So that anime kind of shows how can music maybe save you, because in difficult times he was also playing the music and so go on. And then he was making friends because of music, but at the same time it shows the negative aspects of music, especially in the competition, because many of main characters are dealing either with anxiety or stress because they're not good enough, or parents don't love them if, no, well, parents mistreat them if they are not practicing enough and so go on. And there is a really harsh word in evaluating how good they are and so go on. But it also shows how music can connect people, because lots of those musicians are gathering around, and lots of people are listening to them, and for one day they are listening to music on the competition and so go on. And then there is another musical anime which is called Hibike Euphonium. This is about school band, and main character is playing this instrument called euphonium, if I pronounce it correctly. And she comes to the school band, and again, this anime is musical anime, but the main topic is, in my opinion, romance and school different school topics and coming out of age and so go on. Basically, they're playing together and music can connect, or music can also destroy friendship because I remember they were fighting a lot because some of them weren't practicing enough, and it also shows the bad side of music because it is evaluated and they lost and um, they are not really good, but at the same time they like to play in a band. So I remember those anime. I watched them all except for Hibike. I didn't finish the second season, and I think then uh, there is also um, a movie, I think, but I didn't watch it so far. So uh, and yeah, I noticed that the screen is flickering. This is because I moved a lot. I was moving a lot around because I was sitting in a strange position, and but it doesn't matter because as long as my voice is heard, it will be alright. Because my videos are, you don't need to stare at this bunny for an hour or two. You you can rather listen to more to my voice and try to learn as much as possible. So these were the anime, which I recommend because they have really good music. But on general, anime um, have really good music, either in soundtrack form or openings, because they're so emotional. They can actually bring emotions from you and make you cry and so and go on. And in anime, the music is always like always there. So when there are sad scenes and there is music, you can cry, or you can get scared when there is intense music. So music is a really important part because anime in general can bring lots of emotions from you, with voice actors, which are amazing, and with music, which is also amazing. Lila comment that she noticed that it seems a lot of musicians or singers seem to suffer with mental issues or illnesses. Yeah, I also noticed that, but not only singers and musicians, but also with writers and other artists. I think I was once reading something or learning something about that many artists on general have that kind of personality which is more like depressive type of personality. um, Basic depressive types of personality are those who want to help others a lot, or on the other hand they have so much imagination and creativity that they are often misunderstood, and they're often living in not really living in fantasies, but they can imagine words that aren't really true or can't happen. So that could be that because the real world is different. Or on the other hand, why they have many mental issues or illnesses, because many people who have mental issues or illnesses, they actually find themselves in music because they can express their thoughts and their concerns through music. And with artists, it is many artists are like that. So they started from, I don't know, they felt sad or depressed, and they started to write, and then they were writing more and more, and suddenly they came up with stories. Like we were talking about yesterday, why lots of artists on Tumblr are drawing about mental issues, and why they are drawing about suicide and so go on. This is also because of that, because they want to express themselves. Maybe because many didn't listen to them, or they just find it more comfortable to do it that way. So if you are listening to songs, I would really like to research that if there are more negative or positive topics in songs, I would really like to research that. I think that's a really interesting topic to research because, they say that the best songs or the best art forms um, actually came from sadness, depression, and that kind of things. It seems like when we are sad and depressed, we are more creative. I guess creativity is connected with sadness and mental issues, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I know we were mentioning things like that, that there's somewhat connected in a way. Lots of writers, for example, in the past, they were smoking and drinking and so go on. Maybe because the imaginary world was better than real world, or because they were misunderstood, or because they had mental issues before. I would really like to compare the stories of someone who has some problems and someone who doesn't. And I would like to compare um, if there are any difference, which song is, I don't know, has more fans or something. So that's one interesting. And also, not only with writing, with music, many tell me that they are relaxing while listening to music, or music help them. Maybe because many musicians have mental issues. So if you are listening to their song, you can feel connection between you and them, and you can feel that someone there understands you, and maybe you can think about your problems, find solutions in songs. For example, Linkin Park is, in my opinion, one of that musicians or music bands that really helped lots of people because their songs are always sad and gloomy and depressed, and many people find comfort in listening to that kind of music because they feel connection between them and that music. um, it is interesting. I think those topics are really interesting to research. I'm not really familiar with that. I only can talk about my experiences because music helped me and is still helping me a lot. I've never actually analyzed music unless it was for school because you have to analyze some songs there. But on general, I really never analyzed any lyrics. I was only listening like to the lyrics and the message and tried to connect that with my personal life, but I never tried to analyze it and try to think how the singer felt. I guess because music, no, when you start to analyze something, it kind of becomes dull because you start to see the patterns which are starting to be the same in every song and so go on. So maybe because of that I didn't analyze it, or that didn't feel like it needs to be analyzed. I only like to listen to it and sing along, and the only thing I was thinking is how anime is really powerful because of music, because it can bring lots of emotions to you through the music, and many like to listen to it. So so this is what I think. Lila said, "Do you personally think any specific music shouldn't be created, or should all minds be free?" I This is a really interesting question because I've never thought of that. Um, I like to listen to any kind of music, but there are some genres which might be unpleasant for my ears, or some find them strange. There is one genre, I don't remember the name, but when you bring different kind of dishes and things and you are throwing them around and breaking them, that's one genre. Or some really intense electronic music, you basically can do anything today with music. But yeah, I remember I was reading some unusual genres, and one of them was mentioned that you gather lots of things on the stage and you try to break them, like break glass and break different kinds of dishes, like plates and other things. I don't know if there is any specific music that shouldn't be created. Maybe I'm concerned about some kind of music which has actually some messages which are hidden behind the real music. You know, in the past when metal music appeared, they thought they that metal music had some kind of secret messages behind it. And I do believe, not in that particular case, but I do believe that some music can be misused for that kind of messages. And if you are listening to that kind of music, then those messages can silently appear in your minds. It's similar to manipulation. It's similar as if you're watching a movie, you will see there is advertisement for 1 second or less. I remember one of my school or class college mates, colleagues, actually they had that kind of topic for presentation. They were showing us movies in which there was Coca-Cola and other brands shown for 1 second, but that second actually people didn't notice, but their brain noticed it, and when they used that film in cinema after the movie finished, those people were actually buying more Coca-Cola, for example. And I believe in music, those messages can be, and they can be harmful in a way. And then you basically implant a thought in humans' mind, similar as manipulation or hypnosis or something. So maybe that kind of music, or I don't really like, maybe that's subjective, but I am really concerned about music with hate speech and so go on. I think music should bring people together, not make them break apart. So, in a way, music can be harmful. But yeah, I don't really know what music shouldn't be created. Other than that music, that someone can create music to harm people. So that is my opinion, at least. But yeah, there are many kinds of music, and many kinds of music are actually also being invented at the moment, especially with the new technology we have. Um, and it helps you. Music is also used in therapy, either that you're playing an instrument or you try to express yourself through music, and more art is more and more used in therapy, not only music but drawing and creating different things and coloring. Well, basically the art is really helpful when it comes to therapy, not only music but other kinds of art as well. They could use, in my opinion, anime for therapy in some way. But yeah, I think psychology is not really, at least now, it's not really interested in anime, but I'm glad they're interested at least at other forms. Not as much as they could be, but at least they are. Uh, and Lila also said that talking about secret messages in music, some of the messages are like what the person is feeling, which can be really bad if they are not getting help. Yes, some can use music to, just like I said yesterday on Facebook, when you are sometimes posting quotes about depression and you are actually calling for help, but no one really gets it. They only think, oh, you shared that. And same in music, some can express themselves in that way that they are they are in need for help and they want help, and someone don't realize that. And because some people are direct and some are not. Some will tell you I need help, and some will make this secret message in music and in memes and other format, but many won't notice that message. Because if we are not noticing when person clearly says I need help, we won't be able to notice the secret messages as well. And then when if something happens, like someone commits suicide, we can go to music and listen to it, and we can see that the person needed help. I don't know if you have, when you wrote that comment, that you had Chester from Linkin Park in mind. But yeah, when I was listening to one of his songs, when he was talking about stars, and if one star dies, we won't really care because there are a million more stars. I That could be maybe an example that he was telling about himself, that if he would die, that no one would really care about. But at that time, because many people are also using, I think the problem is many people are also using songs for themselves to relate and so go on, and they are mostly thinking about themselves and how they will, what to do when listening to the song and so on. They don't see messages, secret messages. Many maybe think that the artists actually are so good in creating different aspects and different stories, that they actually, that's only imaginary world, but not actually the reality. While in reality, many artists who are actually singing about being depressed and sad are actually talking about themselves or someone who they know. But at that time, we listen songs because we like them and because we want to help ourselves, and many times we don't realize that the artist actually needs help. And sometimes you feel powerful because you don't know that artist personally, and if the family and friends didn't help them and didn't I don't know, didn't give him advice to seek for help, how would you? So, so it is really difficult to, I think, recognize that kind of things. So I'm thinking, what else can I say about music? It is really powerful. And I really recommend Carole&Tuesday because it actually shows how powerful music is. And also it is a bit of science fiction, psychological, or neuroscience. Well, neuroscience is actually one part of psychology, so it actually really shows how important music is and how it can make changes and how it can make you feel better. And this anime is really, really underrated, and it's one anime I really want to have a award for the best anime of this year. And yeah, like Clara said, music is quite small, but it's powerful and important. Small for a subject. Well, the problem is that for some subjects I don't really have enough to say, because either we didn't study it in college, or either it is not part of my daily life in aspects of psychology, or I don't didn't really analyze it or didn't read something extra about it. Music is just my part of life, and I listen to it every day and it helps me relax. And when it comes to art and my work, I usually use drawing, but I think more and more I will start to use music as well, because some people prefer music, some people prefer drawing, and so on. And it can be really good way, especially they're using songs when studying, many people, and meditation, and it can help you relax and reduce stress. Well, scientists said that it depends what kind of music. That usually the one which is reducing stress, is the one without singing, and it has to be in certain speed. I think it is slower to medium. I'm not sure, and that way you can relax and be concentrated more. But if you are listening to people's experience, many actually relax more when in music there is singing, and that they are not as slow. I believe many people with that kind of slow music can fall asleep, so I think everything depends on a person. Even if one research says something or few researchers say something, there is always someone who is different than what results say. Mm. So if you have any other questions or comments, or because this is weekly podcast, maybe questions about some other topics, or comments about some other topics when it comes to anime and psychology, you can write them in the chat and I will try to answer as much as I can. Or if you have any ideas or aspects or thoughts about music, psychology of music. So yeah, this is a really, really small, but it's really important subject. Yeah. Yeah, Lila said that music can be inspiring too. It really can be inspiring. It can also be a good motivation. You know, when you go jogging or you do some other sports, many have headphones and they're listening to it. And many say, when it comes to anime, of course, they say they are using certain anime songs to study or to uh, s- deal with sports. And I was also and still am using songs when I'm studying. Well, for me, mostly nightcore music helps and anime songs help. I was trying to study with music without sounds. Um, it can also I can only succeed when there are actually anime soundtracks, because other don't motivate me enough. Um, so it really, for me, if I want to be motivated, it really needs to be that kind of music, when a character suddenly appears and his or she is much more powerful than before. That kind of music motivates me more, especially for sport or something like that. Um, and yeah, like Tara said, when listening to music, you can also get new ideas for work and so on. Especially when we are working or searching for ideas, we are constantly thinking about work and ideas. But when we are using music and trying to relax, we don't think about it, and then our brain can easily find the new connection, and you easily can get ideas because you're relaxed. Because if you're thinking about one things more and more and more and repeating that, sometimes you're only thinking about the problem and don't find the solution. So it can be a really good motivator and search for ideas. And music is everywhere. It is in movies. You can express so many emotions with it. So that way it also can help you relax, because it can make you cry, and it can make you angry and happy, and you express those kinds of emotions. So I think that's also one therapeutic side, especially if you are not really in touch with your emotions or not familiar with your emotions, or if you want to practice expressions and emotions. You can also send different messages with it. I noticed that sometimes I was maybe talking about this before, but many times I can express myself more with memes or music. I can easily send a music which can describe how I feel or what I want to say. And that can be also one thing. So Lila also said and asked that elevator music is meant to help pass the time, but it seems to annoy and trigger people more than anything. Why do you think that is? I don't really know, but it is also annoying. You know what else is annoying? Some music in stores, at least for me. I really like stores which don't have music. Um, well, sometimes the music is good in those stores because I can see the my favorite song, but at the same time, I don't know, I guess the music in elevator is that kind of annoying music. You know, for some people, Nyan Cat, that meme song, is really annoying, but for some is not. So maybe that elevator music is made, I don't know, it's they chose the wrong song and the wrong tune, and it is so annoying. Mm, or because it is repeating all over again. Um, but the elevator music is meant to help pass the time. I don't really feel a need for it to help pass the time because I don't know, when you're in elevator you either talking with other people if you came with friends, or either you are thinking about different things, and the elevator you go from one place to another really fast. um so yeah, so I don't really know why is that. Maybe maybe they did it, maybe they were trolling people and did it on purpose, or maybe when that music was created wasn't really annoying, but now since we kinda are not the same as people in the past, maybe it is annoying for us. Because maybe, maybe we find that elevator time as a place where we can relax and be silent. Because if you are if you try to listen around you, you can hear many things. You can hear cars, you can hear music, you can hear so many sounds that it is rather annoying. And then when you go to elevator or store or some places when you want complete silence, you get that music which is so annoying and gets on your nerves. Or maybe it is something connected to the elevator itself. Maybe that music is actually louder because it is small space. I don't know, but it's, yeah, a really interesting and funny idea to think about it. um, so music is actually everywhere, in commercials, on television, in elevator, in stores, when you go on bus, when you are in car, everywhere. In car, actually, it helps passing the time. At least I have that kind of experience. Was also because you can listen to your own music. And oh, nowadays many people are actually, you can see them with headphones all the time. And I was actually thinking about that a lot because many people say, oh, those young people, they are not interested in their surroundings, they're always on their phones, they don't listen. And when I was going to college and I was driving on city buses and trains, I was actually watching them and thinking why we are all so immersed into the music. And I got the idea that at one point people started didn't people didn't listen to those teenagers and young people anymore. This is first aspect. So they were bubbly and they were talking about school and their problems, and suddenly people started to be annoyed with them. And so what did the young people do? They escaped to the world of music. On the other hand, I think nowadays our heads are so big with so many thoughts and so many worries, and young people find a solution that you try to silence voices and thoughts in your head and try to silence your environment, which is also full of noise and full of sounds. So they simply got headphones and tried to be away from that annoying and fast style of life as much as they could. And that way you can relax, you can think, and nobody can bother you that way. Um, I also like when some people are sharing their music, like they're sharing it online or with headphones. I really like that. It shows how music can connect people. Um, so yeah, we are trying to escape the annoying sounds of the words to the sounds of music. And especially I think for introverts or people who are anxious can be really helpful because for a bit they can turn off their surroundings. Of course, it is dangerous because you don't hear sounds, um, but it is, I guess, one way of them to deal with annoying environment and annoying people. So this was something I was actually thinking about, but this way of dealing with people is old because before people were reading, and even before, I don't know, maybe people were pretending to sleep just to escape for a bit from this real reality and real world. So this is also one aspect of psychology of music, to escape from the real world. So if you have any other questions to finish or comments to finish this psychology of music topic. Yeah, it is a nice distraction. It is, I think, better than people yelling around you and complaining, or annoying sounds of cars and other city sounds. So it can be really nice. And some say they listen music before they are going to sleep, some when they woke up. There is always music present. Either you turn on the radio or you go to YouTube and listen to it, or any other ways in a car, in a bus, everywhere it's music to relax, to socialize. Yeah, music can bring people together when they're socializing and so go on. And music is used in different events, happy, sad one. Music is everywhere. And music is, like I said, like universal language. Even if you don't understand the language, you can still feel the feelings behind it or beat. And yeah, in advertisements, and there's lots of music. They're trying you to pay the attention to the advertisements, and but many most music in adverts, in my subjective opinion and experiences, is annoying, and I can't stand it. So for me they're not really attractive or motivating enough for me to buy something. But yeah, music is everywhere, and to be a musician and to help people that way and bring joy, I think that's a really, really nice job and work and profession. And especially if you are a therapist who is using music as part of therapy. There are also lots of, in spa they have music rooms to help you relax. Music is really powerful and it can move people. And that's what that anime Carol and Tuesday is all about. Sorry, once again, I think for the third time, I suggest to watch it because it is amazing, at least in my opinion, and I hope it gets as much awards as possible. So, yeah, if you don't have any questions anymore or comments, I will finish this stream. Thank you for making comments and asking me questions, and thank you for choosing this topic. It was really interesting because I've never thought about music as deeply as today, and it is definitely one subject I want to learn more about and to help more people that way. Um, Maybe in form of therapy or just analyzing things. And I will then see you next week. Mm, don't know about the topic, so if you have any suggestions about the topic, you can contact me in group or page, um, and make suggestions so I can make a poll, or I can make a poll, or I can actually choose one of the topics. And if not, I will slowly start to talk about topics I was writing in my articles for local magazine. I was also thinking to talk about Dr. Stone. As I, I would really like to make a reaction. I don't know if I saw, but many scientists are reacting to certain anime, and I would really like to react to Dr. Stone, even though I'm watching it, and it wouldn't be a strong reaction in the first time, but I would really like to make that kind of reaction from psychologist parts. It would be like for me to actually point which parts I think are psychological, and I'm still, if I would had any chances to talk to that author, I would ask them if when they were writing it, they were aware how much psychology they are using, not only with that character who is mentalist, but on general, because sometimes I'm like, Senko is talking so much about science and chemistry and physics, and meanwhile, he's also using lots of psychology because psychology is, of course, everywhere and we are using it every day, but still, um, I'm really surprised how he knows how to deal with people and how to get his kingdom moving on and so on. So that could be one interesting topic for the next day, the science of Dr. Stone, and maybe one day I might react to it. I hope, because it was really interesting to see the lack of psychology or the psychology parts of it. If not, I will just choose anime I was analyzing and talk about them. So I hope you would like that, even if you didn't watch all of the psychological anime I'm talking about or are on my list. So with that, I would like to finish that stream podcast. It will be posted on YouTube like always, and I hope you enjoyed it and thank you for joining me. And till next time, like always, remember, you matter. So thank you for today, and I'll see you next week.